Virginia Giuffre. Unfortunately, she tragically passed away on Friday. And this was a situation where she decided to end her own life. We have to be careful with the wording here on YouTube, but it's sort of interesting for what this means, I think, for Andrew in a lot of ways. But we do have sort of a statement on what happened after her death, and it's been one that like is sort of kind of interesting. We'll have to see if it has changed a bit overnight because when I first read it, I noticed, we're kind of avoiding skipping over, you could say, things that have happened very recently in her life. And so let's go ahead and look at the family statement. Now, I don't know which of the family it actually is. So this is sort of the question because she her marriage dissolved basically. She had filed for a divorce. She had claimed she had gotten hit by a car and had 4 days to live. And it came out that she lost custody of her kids and like so many different things going on at once here. So I thought this was sort of interesting, especially if it came more from, let's say, her husband's side of the family in the statement. And so they say the family, and again, I don't know if this was her family in the States or what have you. It says, it is with utterly broken hearts that we announce that Virginia passed away last night at her farm in Western Australia. She lost her life to ending her life after being a lifelong victim of sexual abuse and sex trafficking. Virginia was a fierce warrior in the fight against sexual abuse and sex trafficking. She was a light that lifted so many survivors. Despite all the adversity she faced in her life, she shone so bright. She will be missed beyond measure. So her family added that the light of her life are her children, Christian, Noah, and Emily. It was when she held her newborn daughter in her arms that Virginia realized she had to fight back against those who had abused her for so many years. There are no words that can express the grave loss we feel today with the passing of our sweet Virginia. She was heroic and will always be remembered for her incredible courage and loving spirit. In the end, the toll of the abuse is so heavy that it became unbearable for Virginia to handle its weight. We know that she is with the angels. Now, of course, this is a terribly, terribly tragic situation for sure, and one that, it shouldn't have happened. And there's so many things going on here. And it's interesting though that they are just sort of focusing on Epstein and less referencing all the chaos that has happened this year. Yeah, as I'm asked, Virginia's family were not defending her while she was alive. That is very telling. It is. I mean, it's sort of hard not to see the potential spin and the tragedy going on in this particular situation with her. And I feel for her. I feel for her family. I'm so sorry and tragic for this loss. But there was also so many questions about her testimony. And I know there was like an FBI investigation going on right now, too. She had the strange situation. So this is my understanding, because I was going to do a video on this regarding Andrew and this situation. But obviously with travel, I didn't get to it. When it comes to her testimony and everything, what happened like the last, I would say, months of her life in 2025 were interesting. So she went with her husband, I think, on a vacation, and she claimed she had been abused by him on there and that she had been dealing with physical violence from him for many years. And then there was a situation where she claimed to be in this very devastating accident with a school bus. And as people asked, no children were hurt. There was it was like a very minor traffic situation. And there was like really no damage. I think maybe somebody lost a light or something, but it was like very, very minor. Everybody went on their way. And then she's taking a picture of herself in the hospital, claiming that she had 4 days to live. At that point, she had been separated from her family and stuff like that. So it's just so much going on here that is just sort of telling, I would say, in some ways, that they're totally skipping over that and blaming everything that happened in the past, when I think all of it obviously factors in together. But very tragic either way. Virginia's death is so sad. It is. It's very sad. It's very tragic. I feel for her family and her poor children, and just the challenges that they're already having, just been magnified by this loss. So we will maybe know more in the coming days. It's hard to tell, but very sad and tragic for her loss, and that she couldn't see a way out of the situation. But it's sort of, when it comes to Andrew and this situation, it raises some interesting questions. So because Andrew obviously paid her off massively. Obviously, this probably came from partly himself, his brother, and the queen herself paid off Virginia to basically get out of the case against him. And it was, I mean, as far as we're aware, she has made claims, but it sort of still remains a he said, she said as well. So, like, what it was the firm evidence? I think it was sort of tenuous. She had accused other people, and eventually those accusations got dropped. And so it's one of those things where you got to wonder what this means again, because now Andrew can't, you could say, find the truth of the situation. It might be totally that he's 100% guilty, but where's the truth in the situation now? Because his accuser is just, he can't question her. And so it leaves him in, I think, an unfortunate way, at sort of limbo, because he has been accused of these horrible things and there has been no trial. There was a civil case. People claim he's guilty and make all sorts of accusations, but we really don't have he has not gone through the legal system in a court of law in terms of a criminal trial, and now he never can. And so I think there will always be, because if the FBI investigation, which I haven't looked too much into, if it was looking into the truth and for the veracity of some of her claims, and she is now no longer able to be questioned, then that leaves everything up in the air now at this point. Nobody knows where this is going to go. And it sort of eliminates a chance for Andrew to clear his name, if that's possible. I don't know. Just saying it might be a possibility. So Wendy says, I've heard and believe it to be true that ending yourself is a way to put a skeleton in someone else's closet. That's true too. Could be a way to get back at her husband in a way. Like, there's always so many things here and factors in this particular situation. And it's very sad and tragic, but she's also made accusations that have severely damaged other people's lives. And whether or not they're true, there hasn't been, like, beyond Jeffrey Epstein, there are, I mean, so many other people on the Epstein list that never got the same level of scrutiny that Andrew did. Andrew did because he was stupid enough to continue the relationship. That was his issue. But he was in a relationship. He, could have done the things she accused him of. We don't know, and now we will never really know, most likely. Because Andrew, of course, can spin things his way, and now he has no kind of somebody to push back against him. So it's all so tragic in so many ways, and so, oh, terrible. And it's just, I always find it hard when it's like I feel like we just are not going to get the answers here, and that's frustrating. Let's see. Faith says, why are the police saying the accident didn't happen like she said it did? I believe the police and the evidence from the bus. Yes. So there was pretty good evidence that the situation with the bus was very minor, like completely minor. Now, it's always possible that sometimes you think something's minor and it might be really major, like that has happened. But at the same time, it seemed to be a very minor thing that everybody walked away from going, yeah, that's fine. And then all of a sudden she's in the hospital saying basically this bus driver is kind of killed her in a way because she was about to die. And that didn't turn out to be true. And then she accuses her husband of abuse and long-term abuse and stuff like that, and parental separation. Like, so there's just so many factors here in this particular situation that it's just very complicated. But either way, children have lost their mother, and there's nothing good there. There's nothing good there. And I feel for the family a lot. So, I mean, It's I don't know, it's just so hard because you kinda want to get to the truth, and then now there's just no way to. And obviously, Jeffrey Epstein did the same thing. So, we'll have to see if there's anything more that is revealed, and if what's going on with the husband and stuff as well, and her relationship with her kids. And I think right before the car accident, I think she was supposed to go to court for something. I think that was part of it too. So, it's just so much, guys, going on here. So that is the update with Virginia Giuffre. And so I hope you guys hug your families a little tighter, reach out to those who are hurting, because I think she definitely was probably hurting for a long time. And this was definitely a very large tragedy.